Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, with my new co-host, Mr. Nigel Patterson.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, give it up for my mans. Give it up for my mans, Nigel. Nigel wasn't able to make the show on Monday, but, he's here today. He's primed and ready to talk some sports. Nigel, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. It's a good day. It's a little chilly outside, but, I can still make it outside to come here.
Yeah, man. If y'all can't tell, man, I'm like a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, you ain't the only one.
You sick too?
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's just like, one thing I hate, y'all, is people that when they cough and sneeze. I'll tell you just exactly how I got sick. People that when they cough and sneeze, they don't know how to cover their mouths. They don't know how to, I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't know how to just blow in the tissue, but they just spray it everywhere. And they just think, oh, let me just get everybody sick then.
You at work, right?
Yeah.
That's something. What was I gonna say? Your germs are their germs.
No,
germs
man.
Are your germs.
No, man. If
they sick, they want everybody to be sick. It's about camaraderie.
I don't need that kind of camaraderie. I don't need that.
It's like being on a sports team. Your brother is your brother. Work the same way. They cough, you cough.
No, they're not my brother because they don't. My brother want to get me purposely sick.
Man, you with them 8 hours a day. They your family.
Nah, man.
they your family away from family.
Well, I guess so. That's the thing. That's one of the things I always wonder though, because I'm like, dang, am I just getting sick because it's like the weather, or am I actually getting sick because no? But I tell you, this girl at my job, she truly. Just coughs and coughs and coughs and just coughs with an open mouth and just lets us, like, you would think she's singing a sonnet the way she's coughing out and just letting it go.
Why don't you say something?
I do.
You say it because you say it. Say it, do something.
You said what?
Do it because you say something. Say it until you do something.
No, man, look, man. I have said something, and I just thought after some point in time she would get the hint to be like, hey, maybe I should stop coughing out loud. But we're not here to discuss our feeling under the weather, man. We're here to talk sports. Happy to be back, y'all. But yeah, man, you know what we do here. We talk sports. And for those who don't know the topics already that we're going to be discussing, so today we're going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers decision to start him. We're obviously going to be talking about Brett Favre and his comments about Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. And then we're going to be talking about Cam Newton, and I heard he was on a Segway or something like that. It's been news recently. Y'all let me know about it. And then we're going to be talking about the San Diego Chargers because 1-4 isn't such a hot start, and it's been kind of a consistent thing. And you would think at some point you got to get better at some point. And then we'll touch a little bit on how the Cubs finished out the series last night. Excuse me, against the San Francisco Giants. So that was a big win for the Cubs, especially for a city that's been so cursed. But y'all, let's just jump right into it, man. Let's get right into these Cowboys and talking about Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. So pretty much throughout 5 games in the season so far, the Cowboys are 4-1, and the talk has been whether or not to start Tony Romo once he comes back, because the belief is that Tony Romo will be able to come back after the Week 7 bye for the Cowboys. Excuse me, after injuring his back, that he'll be healthy enough to come back after Week 7. And it has many people kind of on two different sides of the fence. I talked about it a little bit on Monday, and it has a lot of people kind of wavering of whether or not to bring back Tony when the Cowboys are such a good flow since we're already a quarter of the season through. And then Hall of Famer, Green Bay Packer, notorious Brett Favre, he had these comments to say about the Tony Romo and Dak Prescott situation. You have to look at the dynamics right now, and they are really hitting on all cylinders. So this is hypothetically thinking, if you are Tony, you say, you know what? As much as I want to play, I don't want to press the issue. I don't want to play. or I want to play, but I'm going to let it play out right now, and it is probably better. If Dak starts struggling and then they bring me in, rather than they put me in and then all of a sudden we're not hitting on all cylinders and everyone's like, they should have got rid of Tony, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you tell Jason Garrett or Jerry Jones, look, I don't want to play. I think you want to play, but look, I don't want to mess up the mechanics of the team. If we get to a point where we are struggling, then it is time for me to come in now that I know that it's a hard thing to do. I just think you are better if you wait till you are really needed and mean no disrespect whatsoever to Tony. So, Nigel, what do you think about Brett Favre's comments? Because, I mean, we've even heard Jerry Jones has publicly come out and supported Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, but Jerry Jones' stance has become less and less affirmative. You know, at first Jerry Jones was like, yes, Tony Romo's the starter of this team. Jerry Jones was like, Tony Romo's our starter. You know, slowly it's become more of, well, you know, we'll hopefully when Tony gets back and he's 100%, we'll see how everything works out for our team and whatnot. So, what do you think about these comments?
I think me and Jerry are working on the same wavelength here. When Dak first started, it was like, okay, well, after preseason, Tony Romo, when he comes back, it's his job. It's not going to be a competition. It's going to be whatever. It's not even a discussion. No point even talking about it. You know, the first 2 weeks, all right, Dak's playing well. That's nice and all, but Tony Romo's going to have to lead this team once he gets back. Now, I kind of agree with Brett Favre. We're going into week 6. Going into week 6.
Yeah,
and
we are going to week 6.
Make sure. And they're still playing well. Still in the division lead. And they have a rhythm going. And Dak has a rhythm going. And I think when the Bengals came out and said, they watched game tape and they haven't seen him throw a single bad pass the entire season. I mean, the guy, it's kind of tough for somebody to come back and say, well, I want to interrupt that while I'm rusty. Come in, start. May play well, may not. Depends. And he's had a history of being injured. So it's like if you bring him back, he starts, gets injured again. You have to bring Dak back in, work himself back into a rhythm again. And that's just a lot of work you have to do for a team that's already hit a rhythm right now. So I kind of agree with Brett that maybe this just maybe it's a 2001 situation where a guy's just playing really well and you have a veteran here and he's just like, well, maybe it'd be better if you go off somewhere else and play well.
Well, it is interesting because it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm looking at Dak's season numbers right now. He has a 69% completion percentage. He's thrown for 1,239 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, of course.
Perfect game manager.
Yeah, he has a passer rating of 101.5, QBR of 90.51. Yeah. So I look at it, he's playing exceptionally well.
He's not doing too much.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not doing a Brock and coming and throwing picks left and right. He's not doing anything wrong in the situation that he's been given. So it's kind of tough for me to say, well, we're going to punish you by playing so exceptionally well by putting Tony Romo back in.
Yeah.
Even though it's Tony's team, but things like this happen. Alex Smith had it happen. Things happen where you can play as well as you can, but if the guy's behind you playing exceptionally well, that's how you lose jobs sometimes.
But the crazy thing is, it's like, Tony Romo's a tested veteran.
Yeah,
and,
Tony Romo, I love me Tony Romo. I'm one of the biggest Tony Romo fans. Top 10 quarterback, easy top 10 quarterback. But I mean, he has a history.
But you're right. But his recent history has spoken to, all right, Tony can most likely take us there. That's the thing. His most recent history hasn't spoken to the fact that he won't be able to take them there.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you trust in him and then hope that he can lead you to the promised land?
Because it's about a rhythm. Tony may be the best option to lead you there. But if somebody is in a rhythm, you never know how far that can take you. Mm-hmm. And so you don't want to break up a rhythm just to say, well, he's tested. And tested in the sense that he's going to get you to the playoffs. How he plays in the playoffs, we don't know how he's going to play in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Dak is showing right now he can probably get this team to the playoffs, depending on how Philly plays out. Mm-hmm. So at this point, unless they start seeing some slippage, I don't see any reason to really pull him.
Well, Dak has openly said that he feels as though this is Tony's team. Right. I mean, he's backed Tony 100%. He hasn't made any kind of waiver or any kind of statement that would insist that he's trying to take this team away from Tony. But when your locker room becomes split, I mean, what do you do as a head coach? What do you do? Because, I mean, it is supposed to be Tony Romo's team. I mean, yeah, a younger guy comes in, steps in, fills in, and you get a little role going on. But if this was New England, granted, I know that's Tom Brady. Yeah. I'm not trying to compare Tom Brady and Tony Romo, but think about it. When Jimmy Garoppolo was playing well, people were starting to ask, "Oh, so what are they going to do after Tom Brady or after Tom Brady comes back? If Jimmy Garoppolo was playing well, and then even beyond this season." So, I mean, even beyond this season, that's the kind of questions they're asking about Tony and Dak, because you don't know what to do, because Tony's the older guy. 36 years old, and Dak is fresh out of college, and Dak has the young legs. But the only problem is Dak doesn't have big play. Like, he isn't exactly a threat down the field. That's why Dez Bryant has become so much of a less of a factor in this offense, because of the fact that Dak is more of a in between the numbers kind of player and everything like that. So he hasn't really got incorporated Dez Bryant into this offense. That's why it hasn't seemed like they've missed a beat since Dez Bryant has been gone.
That's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing when you become so. If you have multiple receivers that can kill you. When you say Dez Bryant hasn't been really a factor, and they're not, that's a great thing. That means all your receivers, the other receivers are getting open, and you're hitting those receivers. You're not just stuck on. You're not making the mistake that young quarterbacks make of getting locked onto one receiver and he being your security blanket and only going to him. So I think that's actually a good thing. Now, and towards the future, I think it benefits more for Dak than it does for Tony Romo. You looking towards the future, like you say, he's 36 years old. I mean, look at Peyton Manning when he was 39. Look at how many quarterbacks make it past 36 years old.
Yeah,
not that many. So it's like, realistically, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 years of Tony Romo left, and then you're pulling up Dak. But if Dak's playing so well now, why say we're gonna wait 2 years and then Dak will be your team when he's already establishing himself right now?
Because of the fact that right now if the heart of the team is with Tony, then why wouldn't you? Though. It is, but I mean, I think it's mainly split between the younger players and the older players. And the older players are the ones that have been riding with Tony for the longest time. And I mean, let's be real here. Tony Romo's like Jerry Jones' adopted son. Like that boy, they got blood somewhere along the family lines. Like, the fact that Tony Romo's an undrafted free agent, and then he got picked up by the Cowboys, that goes and shows that they probably have had some kind of connection of family ties along the way that's made Jerry Jones just be so invested in Tony Romo.
And I don't disagree with that. I mean, I lost my school with this. But I was gonna say
about the family dynamic between the two, or the relationship.
But at the same time,
are you talking about the split in the locker room?
Yeah, split in the locker room. There's a split in the locker room, but guess what cures that?
What?
Winning. They keep winning, guess what happens? A lot of people, get a little more quiet. If they keep winning until Tony Romo gets back, it's gonna be really quiet. When Tony Romo gets back, like, hey guys, how about me? It's like, well, Tony, we're kind of winning right now. It's kind of we're feeling pretty good about Dak right now. So why don't you take a seat right here and maybe,
sheesh.
Potentially, if something happens,
you might be able to jump in here.
You'll be the first guy we call off the bench. but and so like I said, winning cures it all. Those complaints in the locker room will go away as long as they keep winning.
Yeah, winning does solve all things. Well, winning quiets complaints, winning silences haters, everything like that. And I mean, you're right. The main thing for me is just the fact. Okay, come on. The main thing for me is just the fact that they don't know what because think about it, they haven't had a whole season where they didn't lose last year except for one game with Tony. So they feel as though maybe if they had Tony Romo at this juncture, they would be able to do the same thing, but there's more big play possibilities. Granted, Tony probably put the ball in danger more times often than not than Dak as well. But yeah, and the thing is that the part of what balances Dak out right now is the fact that Ezekiel Elliott has been balling so well. So it's
that's a big point of why he's playing so well, because they have that great line in Dallas. I mean, even with the Collins out, they still have a above average line, and so as long as he continues to manage games and not turn the ball over, it's gonna be a positive. They're gonna keep winning.
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. We're gonna take our first break of the night, man. It's gonna be about a 30 to 40 second break, but y'all stay tuned. It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. All right.